Check this out. We got half a carton egg whites
Real.
down the hatch.
Oh my god, there's still a little bit left in here. It's just the bubbles. And some chunks.
A little cummy, not gonna lie. Look at this. We moving, and this is the last P-Man special made in the apartment. We're gonna need some veggies. All right, we're gonna try this microphone. It's kind of being stingy. The last few ways I've done microphones, it's just not worked because you know, the normal mics you put on a camera, it's just clicking. It's always been a problem ever since I got the camera. So I'm trying this and it doesn't click. If the audio is a little off, then we'll just deal with what we got to deal with. I got my GoPro on my phone too, so if this doesn't work, then it's okay with me. Been a minute since I posted a YouTube video. Been a minute indeed. I think the last video that I posted was Comeback Part 1. Part 1. And that was posted in 2020. And it was an edit of just everything that I had done after my first surgery. And then I had to have a second surgery. Tore my meniscus, my medial meniscus, and my lateral meniscus again. And the reason that I never had a part 2 was because right after I tore that, or I guess the summer after, I moved down to Utah. And I didn't get really good physical therapy because of the shutdown, COVID, and all that jazz. And so then when I moved to Utah and I lost insurance, I still couldn't get physical therapy. And my rehab was not disciplined enough. I was focused primarily on aesthetics and weight and just lifting in general, doing machines a whole lot, and never did the functional stuff. You know, maybe here and there, but it just was not proper and it was not disciplined. And over the next couple years, my knees got worse. And so all thoughts of YouTube and filming flips just went out the window. It was too hard to do that kind of stuff. It was just mentally, I wasn't strong mentally, and I wasn't willing to get strong mentally. I was a piece of shit. But that's why you learn and you grow. So now we're coming back full circle, working on filming again, busting out the camera, and it's going to be a little bit different this time. So this first video coming back is just explaining where I've been, but primarily to go over some results that I got. And the reason I got these results is because over the last few years, I've gathered some questions. I healed from my ACL. I never damaged my ACL again, but I retore my meniscus. And then over the next few years, although my rehab was improper and, you know, I just wasn't disciplined with it, I still would have expected my body to heal a little bit better than it did. Because over time, I just was smarter about, like, I just learned about, like, what vitamins I should be taking, what movements I should be doing, what movements I should avoid, how to eat a little bit better. And I was already eating fairly well compared to most people, but, you know, you can always get better at that kind of stuff. But I just kept sustaining injuries, you know, time and time again. Obviously, you don't take care of one, it's going to travel up and down the kinetic chain to another one. I mean, that's what started happening to me. So just to like list them off, I've had the ACL on the right knee, the medial meniscus on the right knee twice, the lateral meniscus on the right knee once. And over time, the left knee started hurting just as much and more than the right knee. In that medial meniscus area, I never had any diagnosis on the left knee because I couldn't. I couldn't pay for an MRI. I couldn't pay for insurance. But the left knee started really, really hurting, and kind of as a self-diagnosis kind of deal. I just came to the conclusion after doing enough studying over the last couple years that my quad tendons were having some tendinopathy, and my patellar tendons, of course, were really messed up and having some tendinopathy, especially my right one because that's the graft that I got from my ACL. So just both knees just started. I just called them shot. I called them, shot and injured, and I wouldn't really mentally. I didn't think I could get any better until I got an MRI and got surgery, which haven't. It just needed a little bit more discipline put on studying what was happening and what I needed to do to get out of it. Other than the knees, it carried up and down. So I guess the next thing that happened was the ankle. The right ankle started tweaking, and it just consistently started tweaking. Um, and that just went on for a little bit until I had decided that in 2022, was it 2021? Spring of 2021. Time flies. No, spring of 2022. I had quit my job just for reference. That's the whole reason I moved down to Utah was Woodward, right? So I moved down to Utah, coach parkour. And in spring of 2022, my knees had gotten so bad and I just wasn't willing to like do anything else for them. And I never trained leg day. I overtrained my upper body, just on machines and stuff, just looking for aesthetics. I thought I was doing the right thing. I was like, I'm eating well enough and I'm training right, which I wasn't training right. And the knees got so bad that I just decided that I was done. I wasn't gonna, the whole dream of being a flipper and just being as athletic as I wanted to be just died in about February or March of 2022. Well, 2 months later, not more than 2 months later, I decided fuck that. And I decided I was gonna study my butt off and become a CPT, which is not that hard, but become a CPT and just figure out everything anatomy wise, kinesiology wise, exercise science, just learn it all so that I can figure out the answers and I can come back. I shit you not. A month after I decided that, a month after I was like, all right, this is what we're doing. I'm going to buy this package. And granted, I bought it from NASM. I've learned more in the field and since I got my cert than I ever learned at NASM. But it's getting your foot in the door. Anyways, a month after I decided that that's what I wanted to do, I tore my pec and I tore it off the sternum. But I didn't tear the whole thing. It was just a small tear right here. So I still have a divot here. It's not going away. I tore it off the sternum, right? There's no connective tissue here. And that led to some crazy right shoulder problems, which I'm still dealing with. But I've learned a lot about those shoulder problems. However, it's just funny. A month after I decide, yeah, I'm gonna learn everything, I tore my pec. So I that whole summer I didn't train really at all. And over the summer I started studying a whole lot. And I also started studying the knees over toes guy for my knees because my knees were still shot. And I had heard about him for years and people had told me about him, but I never pulled the trigger. I should have pulled it a lot earlier, just bought his program and everything. But I started training that here and there, just watching the videos, trying to do some stuff. I wasn't doing a lot of upper body anymore because I damaged my pec. And it was just kind of shit, but like I was still, I'm going to study everything and I'm going to figure it out. Like I didn't lose that drive. Once I got that drive, it was there. It's been stuck for ever since. Um, and throughout the summer, I'd obviously tried to do what I could. We went bridge jumping and stuff like that because that's really all I allowed myself to do was bridge jump because you're not landing on anything, just in the water. Well, one of those bridge jumps, I over rotated and slapped, like just whiplash so bad, and that damaged my left shoulder pretty bad. And I think it kind of woken up a car accident that I got into a while ago. And so tore my pec, right shoulder started going out feeling like from the front back and then the left shoulder just on my back. And this was like all after I decided that I was going to figure it out and I was going to become healthy. So not only were my knees all shot, but then everything else started going out, which is just, of course. But I was still laser focused on the future. I really got into more functional work and I started working out a little too hard. Kind of one of the things that I've noticed over the last 6 months was I push hard and then I find a limit and I go past the limit and then I have to come back. And then I push hard, I find the limit, go past the limit, come back. And so in about October of last year, after I'd done the torn the pec, got the shoulder problem, and the knees were still, you know, aching and shot. I overdid my calves and I got tendinopathy in both of my Achilles. And I think I did some real serious nerve damage to both of them as well. And that was brutal. And that's just now, like over the summer, over this last summer, just now, like deviated. And now it's like if I have an issue, I have it for a day. I know how to fix it. But it's feeling so much better than it was last year at this time. And yeah, so it was just one thing after another. Like it's funny, right as I decide I'm gonna study all this stuff and I'm gonna get really I'm gonna figure it out. Boom, 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 boom. So many other things start happening. And the calves are really tough, really frustrating. Just continuing out the year, I just keep finding these limits. I flossed my knees on a workout, overdid that and really damaged a whole bunch of nerves in my knees. And that was like in the springtime, and that was really frustrating. And it took some weeks for that to alleviate. And now it's like, now I don't have that problem, but it was just, I just kept finding the limits and I kept overdoing it. I kept messing up. And, now we're here. And I wanted some answers for all these injuries. So I had decided that all I was going to do is I was going to study and figure out everything I needed to do to get back from broken and just past that, just become a better athlete than I ever was. And then once I decided that, so many other things started going out, and it just seems like I'm so easily injured, and it takes a little longer for me to recover. I've been told by physical therapists multiple times that I recover slowly, and I'm like, well, why? Why is that the case? And it's just so many things. Like my lower back comes and goes in pain, and I know the things that can help fix it, and I do the things that help fix it. But if I end up doing something in between, a lower back rehab day or whatever, I it starts to hurt again, and it's just a consistent cycle of just getting hurt easily and not healing easily. Like recently, my hip flexor, I strained my hip flexor doing a little too much hip flexor work, and it's better than it was obviously the week that I strained it or pulled it, but I still feel it, and it's just I feel like as a 22-year-old, I shouldn't be dealing with this array of injuries, especially when my training is based around prehab, rehab, recovery, functionality. Like I'm very particular with my training. All of my days are functional. All of my days are focused on preventing injury and rehabbing from injury. And just the fact that I keep getting hurt on those days just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, because of that, I went and I got myself a lab test. And let me just say, first and foremost, I feel very blessed that I can even do this. Just talking about how hard it is to get labs done. I don't have any insurance. I had to pay for it out of pocket, but even with insurance, it's going to be some crazy amount of money. And I can't do a lot to help it. I can't, it's hard to get labs because they're so expensive. And you have to be careful of what kind of labs you get, because you can get false labs. You can get people who are just money scamming you. It's just frustrating that we live in a world where, like, think about people who are way worse off than me. I'm not at all rich, and I'm very blessed to have a family who's willing to help me out and parents who's willing to help me out with this. Um, but like, what about people who can't? What about people who really have nobody to help them and are dealing with similar things as I am, but they have no way to pay for it? It's just not even in the question to go get labs done. I feel very blessed that I was finally able to get labs done. And we're going to go over those results right now. I'm 22 years old, and I mean, I'm healthy. I eat phenomenally. Obviously, you can always improve. Being my age, doing what I do, I'm very healthy, and I'm very particular on what I eat. I train 4 or 5 days a week, and the reason being that I got these labs in the first place is I don't feel healthy for my age. So, we're going to go over these results, and this will be the beginning of a new path, a new grind. Forgive me, the doc called me because he's out of state, and I was trying to write down everything as he was just spewing off. But pretty much, we did a very extensive lab. It was very expensive, and it was we dove into what's going on. So, quality of my blood cells are good, right? The only thing is you can kind of see. I'm not going to go too much into it, but you can, depending on the quality of the blood cells, you can see your B vitamin complex. You can see how if you're low on B vitamins or high. And I was a little bit low. That's the first thing is I need to up my B vitamins. So that was the first thing you said is B vitamins are going to be very important. Kidneys are good. The electrolytes, as far as sodium and potassium and magnesium, especially magnesium, those are low as well, which kind of surprised me because I take a lot of electrolytes and I eat, I mean, well enough, like bananas. I eat a ton of bananas, right? So I'd assume I'm getting good magnesium through the banana and potassium through the banana. And sodium, I'm not afraid of salt. Like with my diet, I do eat a lot of salt and I drink tons of water. I mean, I'll have a body armor here and there. So it surprised me, but that's something that I need to work on, especially magnesium. My protein's good. Total cholesterol is good. It's below 180. My HDL and my LDL is good, which is good to hear because it'd just be kind of tedious to work on that stuff. Here's the kicker though, testosterone. Now, 22 years old, it's just fact. Like your testosterone should be raging. Mine's not. It's not awful, but the goal at 22 is 800, right? In the 800s. Mine's at 506, um, which in a sense, like surprised me, but also makes sense because with the way I've been feeling with my energy, it's just I'll have energy at the beginning of the week and then it'll just die out by the end of the week. You know, like 3 days in and I'm cooked for the end of the week and I'm just running on fumes. The fact that I can't heal, the fact that I keep getting injured makes sense. Um, that the testosterone is low. Free testosterone, anywhere between 9 and 26 is ideal. I'm at 10, so I'm on the lower end of the ideal range. And a lot of that free testosterone is being converted into estrogen due to, you know, this is stuff that I have to get smarter at. So if I botch this, you know, whatever, I'm getting smarter at it. But pretty much my stress levels throughout the day and the doc thinks I'm lacking deep sleep, which I try to get good sleep. Obviously, it could get better, but because of my stress and my my sleep is what he kind of equates it to. A lot of my free testosterone is getting converted into estrogen, which happens, but I have too much getting converted into estrogen, and that's causing the drop. Like my testes are not working the best, so testosterone is struggling a little bit. So with that, we're gonna start. Ideally, I don't want to take a whole lot. Like I just don't want to take stuff, but I want to feel good, and this is why we do this, so we can figure out what's going on. So starting some supplements, obviously not TRT. I'm not doing that shit. Um, but Clomid and a supplement to help out with just that, just trying to avoid my testosterone getting converted into estrogen as much as it is. It's something I'm going to be doing in the future, and it'll be about a year process, 6 months to a year. And I'm really hoping by this time next year, I'm feeling way better. Because right now, I'll tell you what, I'm feeling better than I was 6 months ago, or even 4 months ago. But 4 months ago, it was really bad. And I think I'm feeling a little bit better now because I do a lot of things throughout the day that I feel help with that. And it's just adding in more habits that can help those hormone releases, stuff like getting outside right in the morning, obviously exercising, which I've been doing, but maybe I had been doing too much or too little or whatever, and it's just the stress was too high. But being habitual with certain things, which the food you're eating, with what you're allowing into your brain, which what you're doing in the morning versus the night. Like I've been very strict on what I've been doing lately, and I've been feeling a little bit better. However, I want to feel way better because I feel like I'm 70 years old as a 22-year-old, and that sucks. Pretty much, B vitamins are low, electrolytes are low, and testosterone's low. Which, I mean, we start working on them can make a big difference. Dihydrotestosterone, the ideal is from 30 to 80, and I'm at 41. So again, I'm on the lower end of that. DHEA is good. FSH is good. It's a little low. I'm at 4.8, so I need to up that a little bit. Estradiol is good. Cortisol is low, and it's not really stable, and that could have a reason why the testosterone is being iffy. So figuring out sleep, magnesium, and my recovery, which I've been good at, but not good enough, is going to help that, which will in turn help the testosterone. And again, I'm learning all this right now. So if I'm botching any of this, just know I'm going to get smarter with it. Thyroid is all good, which is thank goodness that the thyroid is good. Prolactin is good. Uric acid is a little bit high, which is inflammation. And I mean, I could have told you that without the test. I've got a lot of inflammation, and that's something that we need to get lower. So, being smart with supplements there, and then just continuing to do what I'm doing, to get the inflammation low. And again, doing the stuff with testosterone is going to help that as well. Magnesium, like I said, magnesium, as you know, can affect energy at a cellular level. So that's going to be very important as I go on this next year of, trying to fix all the stuff under the hood. Estrone ideally is below 30. I'm at 45, which is high. And that, again, is going to get affected by the stuff that I'm going to start taking within the next year, particularly the Clomid. And then another thing is I'm going to get on is DIM. Testosterone, all the stuff that we're doing for testosterone or going to be doing for testosterone, hopefully will kind of balance out everything else. And obviously I got to get on magnesium and B vitamins as well, which is interesting because I do take lots of vitamins every day and I eat pretty damn healthy. So, you can always get better. And that's just what this shows. Zinc was the last thing that we tested. We like it above 10 or 100, and I'm at 103. So doing pretty good there. If I'm looking at these answers, my brain automatically goes to a couple of things of why this could have happened. And maybe it's genetic, maybe it's just environmental factors, stress factors, sleep factors. Fixing the sleep is important. I think if we go back to like the 2020, 2021 years, I was eating healthy and I was training, but I was training really hard, too much upper body, no legs because of the knees. I mean, zero training legs. And I was drinking tons of caffeine. I'm talking like one or two rains, at least one rain a day, which is 300 on top of maybe a coffee. And that was just consistent for almost a year. And nowadays I'll take month breaks to lower the caffeine, and I'm only on 1 cup of coffee a day. So even just taking out the caffeine it's gonna do a lot of good stuff because pretty much the stress and caffeine can raise aromatase, which converts testosterone to estrogen. And I imagine in those last couple years, I mean, my body was just way too stressed, too much caffeine. Alcohol does the same, but I don't drink alcohol. Smoking a lot, though, smoking a lot of ganja could have had something to do with that as well. So nowadays that I've cleaned up the act, which I'm not going to lie, the act was pretty clean before, but now it's absurdly clean. Hopefully, as we start on this new path, that a lot of this will start to equal out and all the stuff that I'm doing will actually feel like it's working because I know the stuff that I do, the way that I train, the way that I eat is good. but I still be getting hurt, and it's frustrating. So hopefully, as we go on this next year and we fix the testosterone, balance out the cortisol levels, fix the sleep, up the electrolytes, up the B vitamins, everything will, I'll slowly start to feel like I'm actually 22, which I'm really hoping for because that I want to be an athlete and I do not feel like an athlete. I do now more than ever. I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, the way that I've been training has been phenomenal. I'll tell you, I've been going on jogs. I can actually like trust my body a little bit more than I could a year ago, even 6 months ago, because of the way I'm training. And I'm hoping this just kind of solidifies that and helps me shoot forward even faster and harder. Like it could be a big change in this next year and finally be able to start flipping again, which I will tell you, I have been flipping on the champs very lightly, but the way that I've been training and eating and stuff, you can tell it makes a difference. The knees over toes shit, it works. It works. But I'm hoping this fixing the testosterone, balancing everything out, um, just catapults me forward even more so than I am right now. Those are the lab results, and we'll do another lab in about 6 months, see where the test is at, see if what we're doing is working, which hope to God it is. And that is that. Good to be back.